Have you ever felt the urge to just go, to leave everything behind and explore the unknown? Imagine traveling across continents, through bustling cities and desolate deserts. Imagine witnessing empires rise and fall. Now imagine doing all of this in the 14th century. That's the incredible story of Ibn Battuta. This is a story about adventure, about faith, and about the enduring human spirit of curiosity. It's a story that takes us from the sun-drenched sands of Morocco to the icy plains of Russia, from the crowded markets of India to the coral shores of the Maldives. Ibn Battuta's journeys were more than just geographical explorations. They were journeys of the soul, journeys that tested his limits and deepened his understanding of the world. His adventures weren't always glamorous. He faced danger, disease, and despair. Yet, he persevered, driven by an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and a deep devotion to his faith. Over 3 decades, Ibn Battuta's travels spanned an astonishing 75,000 miles, a feat unmatched for centuries. But who was this man, this medieval Marco Polo who traversed the globe long before airplanes and GPS? How did he manage such a monumental feat? And what can his experiences teach us about the world and ourselves today? Ibn Battuta's story isn't just a relic of the past. It's a vibrant tapestry woven with threads that still resonate today. The thrill of discovery, the beauty of cultural exchange, the power of resilience. His journey is a testament to the power of one person to leave an indelible mark on the world. This isn't just a tale for history buffs, this is a story for anyone who's ever felt the wanderlust tugging at their heartstrings. It's for those who believe in the power of human connection and the importance of understanding cultures beyond our own. So buckle up and get ready to be transported back in time. Prepare to be amazed by the audacity of Ibn Battuta's journey and inspired by his unyielding spirit. By the end of this video, you'll not only know the name Ibn Battuta, but you'll understand why his incredible journey continues to captivate and inspire us centuries later. But first, let's rewind to the beginning. To the bustling city of Tangier in the year 1304, where a young man named Ibn Battuta was about to embark on a journey that would change his life and the course of history forever. Stay tuned. The adventure is just beginning. Our story begins in the vibrant port city of Tangier, Morocco, in the year 1304. Imagine a world buzzing with merchants, scholars, and adventurers from distant lands. The air is thick with the scent of spices, the sound of seagulls, and the promise of journeys unknown. This was the world into which Ibn Battuta was born. His full name was Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Lawati al-Tanji ibn Battuta. Quite a mouthful, right? For our sake, let's stick with Ibn Battuta. He was born into a family of Islamic legal scholars, a respectable and influential profession in those times. From a young age, Ibn Battuta would have been immersed in the world of books, law, and religious scholarship. You might picture him as a serious, studious young man, but there was another side to him, an adventurous spirit waiting to be unleashed. You see, Tangier was a gateway to the world. Ships laden with silk, spices, and stories sailed in from distant ports, each arrival a whisper of far-off lands and exotic cultures. Ibn Battuta, like many young men his age, felt the pull of the unknown, the allure of adventure calling him beyond the familiar horizon. Little did he know that this yearning would lead him on a journey unlike any other. At the age of 21, Ibn Battuta experienced a life-altering event. He felt the call to perform the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, a journey every able-bodied Muslim is expected to undertake once in their lifetime. This wasn't just a religious obligation for Ibn Battuta, it was a chance to answer the call of adventure, to quench his thirst for exploration. Leaving behind the familiar comforts of Tangier, he set off alone, with just a few belongings and a heart filled with a potent mix of faith and wanderlust. His journey began like many others, with the well-trodden path east across North Africa. He joined a caravan, their camels laden with goods and their destination, the holy city of Mecca. The Sahara Desert, a vast ocean of sand, stretched before him, a formidable obstacle that tested the limits of human endurance. Days bled into weeks, the scorching sun beating down relentlessly, the only constant the rhythmic sway of the camel and the whispered prayers of fellow travelers. This journey, fraught with danger and uncertainty, was also a crash course in resilience. Ibn Battuta encountered bandits, sandstorms, and the unforgiving harshness of the desert. Yet, he persevered, his faith a beacon in the darkest hours. He prayed alongside fellow travelers under the vast desert sky, sharing stories and finding solace in their shared faith. Each sunrise brought new challenges, each sunset, a testament to his growing strength and determination. The perils of the journey were not without their rewards. Along the way, Ibn Battuta encountered bustling cities like Cairo, a vibrant center of Islamic learning and culture. He marveled at the pyramids, ancient wonders that seemed to whisper tales of forgotten empires. These encounters fueled his curiosity, his journal filling with detailed observations about the people, customs, and landscapes he encountered. After months of arduous travel, Ibn Battuta finally reached Mecca, the holiest city in Islam. The sight of the Kaaba, draped in black silk amidst a sea of humanity united in prayer, left an indelible mark on his soul. He performed the Hajj, fulfilling his religious duty, but his journey was far from over. In fact, it was just the beginning. The seeds of wanderlust sown in Tangier had taken root in the fertile ground of his experiences. Ibn Battuta decided to continue his journey, extending his travels far beyond the initial pilgrimage. Leaving Mecca, Ibn Battuta ventured north, towards the heart of the Islamic world. He traversed the Arabian Peninsula, his journey taking him to Medina, where the Prophet Muhammad is buried. He immersed himself in the region's rich history and culture, his thirst for knowledge leading him to seek out scholars, mystics, and storytellers. His travels weren't always smooth sailing. He faced treacherous sea voyages, battling storms that threatened to swallow his ship whole. He encountered political turmoil, witnessing firsthand the rise and fall of empires. He even faced imprisonment, his freedom hanging by a thread as he navigated the complex web of political intrigue in foreign lands. But through it all, Ibn Battuta's spirit remained unbroken. He possessed an uncanny ability to adapt, to find his footing in even the most challenging circumstances. He embraced the kindness of strangers, finding refuge and companionship in the most unexpected places. He learned new languages, sampled exotic cuisines, and documented his observations with meticulous detail. His travels weren't just about ticking off destinations on a map. They were about immersing himself in the tapestry of human experience, embracing the diversity of cultures, and understanding the world in all its complexities. He wasn't just a traveler, he was a keen observer, a chronicler of his time, and a bridge between cultures. Word of Ibn Battuta's travels and his impressive knowledge reached the ears of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the ruler of the Delhi Sultanate in India. Intrigued by this learned traveler, the Sultan invited Ibn Battuta to his court. This wasn't just a courtesy call, it was an opportunity to enter the inner circle of one of the most powerful rulers of the time. Ibn Battuta, with his sharp intellect and his experiences from distant lands, quickly rose through the ranks. He served as a judge, a scholar, and even an ambassador for the Sultan. He found himself at the heart of a vibrant empire, surrounded by scholars, poets, and artists. He marveled at the opulence of the court, the intricate architecture, and the rich cultural traditions of India. However, life in the Sultan's court wasn't without its challenges. He witnessed the complexities of power, the intrigues of the court, and the Sultan's often unpredictable nature. He learned to navigate the delicate balance between his own principles and the demands of his position. His experiences in India were a testament to his adaptability and his ability to thrive in even the most unfamiliar environments. Don't go anywhere. The adventure continues. In the next part, we'll follow Ibn Battuta as he ventures even further afield, to the exotic lands of Southeast Asia and China. What new wonders awaited him? What challenges did he face? Stay tuned to find out. After several years in the Delhi Sultanate, Ibn Battuta felt the familiar tug of wanderlust. The world was vast, and he had only seen a fraction of it. He yearned for new experiences, new cultures to encounter. So, with the Sultan's blessing, he set sail once more, this time eastward, towards the fabled lands of Southeast Asia. The Indian Ocean stretched before him, a shimmering expanse of blue that held both promise and peril. He boarded a Chinese junk, a vessel far different from the Arab dhows he was accustomed to. The crew spoke a language he didn't understand, their customs strange and unfamiliar. Yet even amidst the unfamiliarity, Ibn Battuta found a sense of excitement. He was stepping into a world entirely unknown, a world ripe for discovery. His first stop was the Maldives, a chain of coral islands scattered like jewels across the Indian Ocean. He was struck by the beauty of these islands, the crystal-clear waters teeming with colorful fish, the air thick with the scent of coconut and salt air. He observed the lives of the islanders, their unique customs and traditions, meticulously recording his observations in his journals. Ibn Battuta's stay in the Maldives was longer than he intended. He was appointed as a judge, his knowledge of Islamic law highly valued in this newly Islamized sultanate. He immersed himself in his duties, resolving disputes and ensuring justice prevailed. He even married into a local family, a testament to his ability to adapt and build relationships wherever he went. But the call of the unknown continued to beckon. After a time, Ibn Battuta bid farewell to the Maldives and set sail once more. His destination, the Spice Islands, a legendary archipelago known for its fragrant cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. These spices, highly prized in Europe and the Middle East, were a source of immense wealth and fueled the lucrative spice trade. Sailing through the Indonesian archipelago, Ibn Battuta encountered a kaleidoscope of cultures and languages. He encountered Hindu kingdoms, Buddhist temples, and animist rituals. He marveled at the towering volcanoes, the lush rainforests, and the exotic wildlife that inhabited these islands. He documented the diversity of this region, his journals becoming a treasure trove of observations about the people, customs, and natural wonders he encountered. He reached Sumatra, an island rich in gold and camphor, where he encountered a powerful Hindu-Buddhist kingdom. He was fascinated by the blend of religions and cultures, witnessing firsthand the syncretic nature of faith in this part of the world. He continued his journey, reaching Java, an island renowned for its fertile rice paddies and its sophisticated courtly culture. The further east Ibn Battuta traveled, the more wondrous the world became. He encountered creatures he had only read about in ancient texts: rhinoceroses, elephants, and orangutans. He tasted exotic fruits, spices that exploded on his tongue with unfamiliar flavors, and dishes prepared with ingredients he had never seen before. Each day brought new discoveries, new encounters that challenged his preconceptions and broadened his understanding of the world. Eventually, Ibn Battuta's travels brought him to the shores of China, a land that had captured his imagination since childhood. He had heard tales of its magnificent cities, its advanced technology, and its powerful emperor. Landing in Hangzhou, a bustling port city on China's southeastern coast, he was immediately struck by the sheer scale and sophistication of Chinese civilization. He marveled at the towering pagodas, their intricate carvings reaching for the heavens. He watched in awe as skilled artisans crafted exquisite porcelain and silk, their craftsmanship unmatched anywhere in the world. He observed the efficiency of the Chinese bureaucracy, the complex system of governance that kept this vast empire running smoothly. His journals overflowed with detailed descriptions of Chinese customs, from the tea ceremony to the use of chopsticks, his curiosity insatiable. Ibn Battuta traveled extensively throughout China, visiting bustling cities like Hangzhou, the capital of the Southern Song Dynasty, and Beijing, the seat of the Yuan dynasty established by Kublai Khan. He was granted an audience with the emperor himself, a rare honor for a foreign traveler. He presented gifts, shared stories of his travels, and engaged in philosophical discussions with learned Confucian scholars. His time in China was a testament to his adaptability and his ability to bridge cultural divides. He learned to navigate the complexities of Chinese etiquette, mastered the art of calligraphy, and even tried his hand at speaking Mandarin. He embraced the cultural richness of this ancient civilization, recognizing the value of learning from cultures vastly different from his own. After several years in China, Ibn Battuta felt the pull of home. He longed to see his family, to share the stories of his extraordinary journey. He had traveled as far east as he could go. Now it was time to turn his footsteps westward towards the familiar shores of Morocco. His journey home would be just as arduous as his outward journey, filled with its own set of challenges and triumphs. He retraced his steps through Southeast Asia, sailing across the Indian Ocean, and making his way back to India. He found the political landscape had shifted during his absence. The Delhi Sultanate was facing internal strife, and the once powerful Sultan had been replaced. Ibn Battuta, ever resourceful, adapted to these changing circumstances, using his wit and his diplomatic skills to navigate the political minefield. He continued westward, traveling through Persia, where he witnessed the devastating effects of the Black Death, a pandemic that was ravaging Europe and Asia. He documented the horrors of this plague, the empty streets, the stench of death, and the fear that gripped the hearts of the living. His writings provide valuable insights into the social and cultural impact of this devastating pandemic. From Persia, he traveled through Syria and Egypt, witnessing the continued flourishing of Islamic scholarship and culture. He stopped in Jerusalem, performing the pilgrimage to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. His faith had been his constant companion throughout his travels, providing him with solace in times of hardship and reminding him of the interconnectedness of humanity. Finally, after nearly 3 decades of travel, Ibn Battuta returned to Tangier, the city of his birth. He was no longer the naive young man who had set out on his journey. He was a seasoned traveler, a scholar and a diplomat, his hair and beard streaked with gray, his eyes reflecting the wisdom gleaned from a lifetime of extraordinary experiences. He was greeted with a mixture of astonishment and disbelief. Many had thought him lost, vanished into the vastness of the world. But he had returned, his memory a treasure trove of stories that would captivate generations to come. He shared tales of his adventures, his encounters with exotic cultures, and his observations about the world. He dictated his experiences to a scribe, his words transforming into a remarkable travelogue known as the Rihla, meaning the journey. Ibn Battuta's Rihla is more than just a travelogue, it's a window into the world of the 14th century, a testament to the interconnectedness of civilizations and a celebration of human curiosity and resilience. His journey inspires us to step outside our comfort zones, to embrace the unknown, and to recognize the shared humanity that connects us all. And that, my friends, is the incredible journey of Ibn Battuta, a man who dared to explore a world beyond imagination. His story reminds us that the greatest adventure is often the one we choose to take ourselves. So go out there, explore, discover, and create your own incredible journey. Leaving behind the familiarity of the Middle East, Ibn Battuta journeyed towards a land he'd heard whispered about in hushed tones, India. The mighty Indus River marked the gateway to this fabled land, a swirling ribbon of water that held the promise of riches, spices, and ancient wisdom. Crossing it was more than just a geographical transition. It was a step into a world vibrant and unknown. The India that greeted Ibn Battuta was a tapestry of cultures, languages, and religions. He found himself surrounded by people whose customs and beliefs were vastly different from his own. The air hummed with the scent of unfamiliar spices, the streets teemed with merchants hawking their wares, and temples dedicated to unfamiliar gods rose amidst bustling cities. It was a sensory overload, a feast for the curious mind. Despite the initial shock of this cultural immersion, Ibn Battuta approached India with his characteristic open-mindedness. He observed the intricacies of Hindu rituals, marveling at their colorful ceremonies and the philosophical depth of their beliefs. He engaged in theological debates with learned Brahmins, eager to understand the core tenets of their faith. His journal entries from this period reveal a deep respect for the people he encountered, even as he grappled with the complexities of their beliefs. His reputation as a learned scholar and a seasoned traveler preceded him. Word reached the ears of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the enigmatic and powerful ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. Intrigued by this traveler from distant lands, the Sultan extended an invitation to Ibn Battuta to join his court. It was an opportunity too tempting to resist, a chance to witness firsthand the inner workings of one of the most powerful empires in the world. The Sultan's court in Delhi was a spectacle of grandeur and opulence. Ibn Battuta, accustomed to the relatively austere courts of North Africa, found himself amidst a whirlwind of lavish banquets, dazzling displays of wealth, and a courtly life governed by intricate rules and hierarchies. He quickly learned to navigate this complex world, his sharp intellect and keen observation serving him well. Recognizing Ibn Battuta's intelligence and experience, the Sultan appointed him as a qadi or judge in Delhi. It was a position of great responsibility, requiring him to apply his knowledge of Islamic jurisprudence to a wide range of cases. He approached his duties with diligence and fairness, earning a reputation as a wise and impartial judge. Life in the Sultan's court wasn't all work and no play. Ibn Battuta, ever the adventurer at heart, found himself swept up in the social whirl of the court. He participated in lavish hunts, witnessed thrilling displays of horsemanship, and engaged in philosophical discussions with scholars from across the empire. He even tried his hand at learning Persian, the language of the court, further demonstrating his remarkable adaptability. However, beneath the surface of opulence and grandeur, Ibn Battuta began to discern a certain capriciousness in the Sultan's character. Whispers of the Sultan's erratic behavior, his sudden shifts in mood, and his penchant for extreme punishments reached Ibn Battuta's ears. He realized that life in the Sultan's good graces could be precarious, a tightrope walk where one misstep could have dire consequences. As time went on, Ibn Battuta found himself increasingly caught in the crosshairs of courtly intrigue. His growing influence and the Sultan's unpredictable nature made him a target for envious rivals. Rumors were spread, accusations were made, and Ibn Battuta soon realized that his position at court was becoming untenable. One day the Sultan, in a fit of paranoia, accused Ibn Battuta of disloyalty. The exact details of the accusation remain shrouded in mystery, but the consequences were all too real. Stripped of his position and possessions, he was imprisoned within the palace walls, his fate hanging precariously in the balance. Fear gnawed at him, but Ibn Battuta was not one to surrender to despair. He used his time in prison to pray, to reflect, and to plan his escape. His prayers were answered when an unexpected opportunity arose. The Sultan, known for his capricious nature, suddenly decided to release all prisoners as an act of atonement. Ibn Battuta, seizing the moment, slipped out of the palace and into the anonymity of the crowded city. He was free from the Sultan's clutches, but he was also a stranger in a strange land, with no money, no possessions, and a target on his back. His escape from Delhi marked a turning point in his journey, a stark reminder of the fragility of fortune and the ever-present shadow of danger that lurked even in the most opulent of settings. Determined to put as much distance as possible between himself and the Sultan's wrath, Ibn Battuta sought refuge in the south of India. He found solace in the thriving port city of Calicut, now known as Kozhikode, a major hub of the spice trade on the Malabar coast. Here, amidst the vibrant mix of cultures and languages, Ibn Battuta hoped to find passage to safer shores. Calicut was a revelation to Ibn Battuta. He was captivated by the city's cosmopolitan atmosphere, its bustling markets overflowing with spices, silks, and precious stones from across the Indian Ocean. He befriended Arab merchants who had settled in the city, finding comfort in their shared language and faith. He learned about the intricate workings of the spice trade, witnessing firsthand the global network of commerce that connected this distant corner of India to markets in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. His adventurous spirit rekindled by the sights and sounds of Calicut, Ibn Battuta couldn't resist the allure of exploring more of this fascinating region. He embarked on a series of voyages along the Malabar coast, visiting the ancient Hindu temples of Kerala, witnessing the unique matrilineal society of the Nairs, and marveling at the natural beauty of the region's backwaters. It was during this time that Ibn Battuta had a life-changing encounter. He met a group of Sufi mystics who introduced him to the spiritual practices of Sufism, a mystical branch of Islam that emphasized a personal and direct experience of the divine. Their teachings resonated deeply with Ibn Battuta, offering him a new way of understanding his faith and his place in the world. This encounter with Sufism would have a profound impact on his future travels and his outlook on life. While in Calicut, Ibn Battuta received an intriguing proposition. The Sultan of Delhi, his anger apparently cooled, had sent emissaries seeking his return. Moreover, the Sultan had a new mission in mind for the intrepid traveler. He was to serve as his ambassador to the court of the Yuan dynasty in China, a land fabled for its riches and its powerful emperor. Despite his earlier experiences in Delhi, Ibn Battuta couldn't resist the allure of such a journey. The opportunity to visit China, a land that had captured his imagination since childhood, was too tempting to pass up. He accepted the Sultan's offer, hoping that this time, his service would be met with greater favor. His journey to China would take him across the treacherous waters of the Bay of Bengal, through the bustling trading ports of Southeast Asia, and finally, overland through the towering peaks of the Himalayas. It was a journey fraught with peril, a test of endurance that would push Ibn Battuta to his limits. He braved storms at sea, navigated dense jungles, and crossed treacherous mountain passes, all the while marveling at the diversity of cultures and landscapes he encountered. He witnessed the splendor of the Vijayanagara Empire in South India, marveled at the ancient temples of Angkor Wat in Cambodia, and encountered the unique customs of the nomadic tribes of the Himalayas. Each step of the journey was a testament to his unwavering spirit of adventure and his insatiable curiosity about the world. And so, with each step taking him further from home and closer to the roof of the world, Ibn Battuta ventured into the unknown, his heart filled with a mixture of trepidation and excitement. After months of arduous travel, enduring blizzards and navigating treacherous mountain passes, Ibn Battuta finally descended from the Himalayas into the heart of the Yuan dynasty. The landscape had transformed, the air thinner, the sky a piercing blue. Gone were the familiar sights and sounds of India, He was now a stranger in a land where horses thundered across the steppes and yurts dotted the horizon like giant mushrooms. He had exchanged the sweltering humidity of the tropics for the biting winds of the Mongolian plains. Gone were the cacophonous calls to prayer echoing from minarets. In their place, the rhythmic chants of Buddhist monks and the haunting melodies of traditional Chinese instruments filled the air. This was a world shaped by the legacy of Genghis Khan, a world where horses were king and the steppes stretched endlessly towards the horizon. News of his arrival as the Sultan of Delhi's ambassador reached the ears of Toghon Timur, the reigning Khan of the Yuan dynasty. Though not as expansive as Kublai Khan's court, it still held an air of power and grandeur. The Khan, intrigued by this traveler from a distant land, received Ibn Battuta with a mixture of curiosity and courtesy. Despite the cultural and linguistic barriers, Ibn Battuta, with his usual diplomacy and charm, managed to make a favorable impression. He conveyed the Sultan's greetings and gifts, emphasizing the desire for continued trade and amicable relations between the two empires. The Khan, impressed by Ibn Battuta's knowledge and experience, welcomed him to his court, offering him the hospitality and protection befitting a distinguished guest. His diplomatic duties fulfilled, Ibn Battuta was free to indulge his insatiable curiosity. The Yuan dynasty, though ruled by Mongol Khans, was a melting pot of cultures. Chinese traditions and innovations intertwined with the nomadic lifestyle of the Mongols, creating a unique blend that fascinated Ibn Battuta. He meticulously recorded his observations of this cultural fusion, from the intricate silk robes worn by court officials to the fermented mare's milk favored by the Mongols. He had heard tales of China's marvels, but nothing could have prepared him for the reality. He marveled at the Great Wall, snaking across the landscape like a stone dragon, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. He witnessed the intricate workings of the Grand Canal, a feat of engineering that connected the north and south of the empire, facilitating trade and communication. The cities of the Yuan dynasty were unlike anything Ibn Battuta had encountered before. He wandered through the bustling streets of Khanbalik, the Khan's capital, later known as Beijing. He was awestruck by the city's size and grandeur, its wide avenues, towering gates, and magnificent palaces. He observed the intricate workings of the imperial bureaucracy, the sophisticated system of governance that held this vast empire together. He was equally captivated by the everyday lives of the people. He observed their customs, their cuisine, their religious practices, recording everything in his meticulous detail. He wrote of the delicious dumplings, the delicate tea ceremonies, the vibrant silk trade, and the use of paper money, a novelty he had never encountered before. His writings provide a valuable glimpse into the daily life of China under the Yuan dynasty, a world both familiar and strikingly different from his own. No journey to China would be complete without experiencing the seat of its imperial might. Ibn Battuta, armed with a travel permit from the Khan himself, embarked on a pilgrimage to Hangzhou, the former capital of the southern Song dynasty, and a city renowned for its beauty and cultural richness. It was a journey that would take him across vast distances, allowing him to witness the heartland of China and the enduring legacy of its ancient civilization. The journey itself was an adventure. Traveling by riverboat along the Grand Canal, Ibn Battuta witnessed the lifeblood of the empire. He saw barges laden with rice and silk, heard the rhythmic chants of the oarsmen, and observed the bustling commerce that connected the distant corners of China. He recorded the meticulously maintained system of locks and canals, marveling at the engineering prowess that allowed for such efficient transport across vast distances. Arriving in Hangzhou, Ibn Battuta was greeted by a city that surpassed even his wildest imaginings. He described it as the greatest city on earth, marveling at its size, its beauty, and its thriving commerce. He strolled along the shores of Westlake, its waters dotted with pleasure boats and spanned by elegant bridges, a scene of such idyllic beauty that it seemed almost unreal. He visited the city's renowned tea houses, their fragrant aromas filling the air, and watched as skilled artisans crafted exquisite silk and porcelain. He was equally impressed by the city's intellectual and spiritual life. He visited mosques, Buddhist temples, and Taoist monasteries, engaging in discussions with scholars and religious leaders. He was particularly fascinated by the concept of feng shui, the ancient Chinese practice of harmonizing the built environment with the natural world. His observations of Hangzhou provide a valuable record of a city at the height of its cultural and economic power, a shining example of Chinese civilization. Despite the outward splendor of the Yuan dynasty, Ibn Battuta couldn't help but notice a growing undercurrent of tension. The Mongol rulers, though outwardly embracing some aspects of Chinese culture, remained a distinct class, often at odds with their Chinese subjects. Whispers of resentment, of rebellion brewing in the shadows reached his ears, a stark reminder that even the most powerful empires were built on fragile foundations. He witnessed firsthand the stark contrast between the lavish lifestyles of the Mongol elite and the often harsh realities faced by the common people. Taxes were high, corruption was rife, and natural disasters, such as floods and droughts, added to the people's burdens. He began to sense that beneath the veneer of prosperity, a storm was brewing. This sense of unease was heightened by news from the West. The Islamic world, the world he knew and understood, was in turmoil. The Black Death continued its deadly march, decimating populations and leaving a trail of fear and devastation in its wake. He received word of the fall of once great cities, the deaths of friends and scholars, and the fracturing of the political order he had known. The world, it seemed, was teetering on the brink of change. The stability he had taken for granted, the order he had observed throughout his travels, was crumbling. Even in the heart of the Yuan dynasty, far removed from the epicenter of these crises, Ibn Battuta felt a profound sense of uncertainty. It was a feeling that resonated deeply within him, prompting him to reflect on his own journey, his place in the world, and the ever-present possibility of change. Years had passed since Ibn Battuta had left Tangier, a young man driven by a thirst for knowledge and adventure. He had journeyed to the ends of the known world, witnessed the rise and fall of empires, encountered a kaleidoscope of cultures, and experienced both the heights of luxury and the depths of despair. But now, as he felt the winds of change sweeping across the globe, a longing for home, for the familiar sights and sounds of his native Morocco, began to tug at his heartstrings. He had seen enough of the world, experienced enough to last a lifetime. The stories he had collected, the experiences he had etched into his memory, were a treasure trove richer than any material wealth. He yearned to share these stories, to impart the wisdom gleaned from his extraordinary journey to those he had left behind. The call of home, once a faint whisper, grew into a resounding chorus he could no longer ignore. He petitioned the Khan for permission to leave, citing a desire to perform the Hajj pilgrimage once more. The Khan, though reluctant to lose such a valued guest and advisor, understood the pull of faith and home. He granted Ibn Battuta a warm farewell, bestowing upon him gifts of silk, porcelain, and a letter of safe passage, ensuring his protection as he journeyed westward. And so, Ibn Battuta turned his back on the rising sun and began his long journey home. He traveled by land and by sea, retracing some of his earlier routes, yet each step now carried the weight of experience, the bittersweet knowledge that his journey was nearing its end. He carried with him not just the memories of distant lands, but a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of humanity, the shared hopes and dreams that transcended borders and beliefs. His journey back to Morocco wasn't a simple retracing of steps, a mere geographical return. It was a pilgrimage of a different sort, a journey inward as much as outward. Each mile covered, each familiar landmark sighted, brought not just a sense of relief, but a flood of memories, a kaleidoscope of faces, voices, and experiences that had reshaped him from the inside out. The weight of the world, the sheer vastness of all he had seen and endured, rested heavily upon him. He had witnessed the dazzling heights of civilization, the artistic brilliance of China, the architectural wonders of India, the intellectual vibrancy of the Islamic world. Yet he had also confronted the fragility of human existence, the devastation wrought by plague and famine, the cruelty inflicted in the name of power, the ever-present potential for chaos and conflict. Through it all, his faith had been his compass, his unwavering guide through the storms of doubt and despair. He had witnessed the myriad ways in which people expressed their beliefs, from the elaborate rituals of Hinduism to the austere simplicity of Sufism. He had learned that faith, in its purest form, transcended dogma and doctrine, serving as a powerful force for both good and ill in the world. He returned to Tangier a changed man, his youthful idealism tempered by the harsh realities he had witnessed. Gone was the naive curiosity, replaced by a profound understanding of the complexities of human nature, the interconnectedness of all things, and the ever-present potential for both beauty and brutality in the world. He had traversed not just continents but the full spectrum of human experience, emerging from the crucible of his journey with a wisdom far exceeding his years. Upon his return, Ibn Battuta was greeted with a mixture of astonishment and disbelief. Some had thought him lost to the world, swallowed by the vastness he had so boldly embraced. But he had returned, a living legend, his memory a treasure chest overflowing with stories that would captivate generations to come. He became a sought-after storyteller, his tales of distant lands and exotic cultures drawing crowds eager to experience the world through his eyes. But Ibn Battuta was more than just a storyteller. He was a meticulous chronicler, acutely aware of the importance of preserving his experiences for posterity. He understood that his journey wasn't just his own, it was a gift to be shared, a window into a world both familiar and unimaginably different. At the behest of the Marinid Sultan, Abu Inan Faris, Ibn Battuta dictated his memoirs to a young scholar named Ibn Juzai. These accounts, compiled and edited, became known as the Rihla, meaning the journey in Arabic. This remarkable document, spanning over 75,000 miles and countless cultures, offered a unique and invaluable glimpse into the world of the 14th century. The Rihla wasn't just a dry recounting of dates and distances, it was a vibrant tapestry woven from meticulous observations of geography, politics, social customs, religious practices, economic activities, and even personal encounters. Ibn Battuta's keen eye for detail, his non-judgmental curiosity, and his engaging writing style brought his experiences to life, transporting readers to bustling marketplaces, serene temples, and the courts of powerful rulers. For centuries, the Rihla remained largely unknown outside of scholarly circles. It wasn't until the 19th century, with the rise of European colonialism and a renewed interest in exploration, that Ibn Battuta's epic journey began to receive wider recognition. Scholars, explorers, and adventurers alike marveled at the sheer scale of his travels, the meticulous detail of his observations, and the enduring power of his story. Today, Ibn Battuta's legacy continues to inspire. He is recognized as one of history's greatest travelers, his name mentioned alongside Marco Polo and Zheng He. His journey, once a testament to the limits of human endurance and curiosity, now serves as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of our world. More than just a historical figure, Ibn Battuta embodies a spirit of adventure, a thirst for knowledge, and an openness to different cultures that resonates deeply in our increasingly interconnected world. His story encourages us to step outside our comfort zones, to embrace the unknown, and to recognize the shared humanity that binds us together, regardless of geographical boundaries or cultural differences. His journeys remind us that the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. Ibn Battuta, through his insatiable curiosity and unwavering determination, read countless pages, each one filled with adventure, wonder, and invaluable insights into the human experience. So, as we leave behind the dusty trails and bustling marketplaces of Ibn Battuta's world, let us carry with us the spirit of his journey. Let us approach the world with open minds and open hearts, eager to learn, to explore, and to connect with those who may seem different from us. You don't need a camel, a ship, or a map to embark on your own incredible journey. Adventure awaits in your own backyard, in the pages of a book, in a conversation with a stranger, in the pursuit of a passion. Embrace the unknown, challenge your assumptions, and never stop exploring the world around you and the world within you. Ibn Battuta's journey may have ended, but his legacy lives on, an enduring testament to the power of human curiosity, the transformative nature of travel, and the importance of embracing the world in all its diversity. What will your journey be? Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more inspiring stories from history. Until next time, keep exploring.